We will continue with questions to our trio up here. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic. Go ahead.
Vipul Talang, the Avion newspaper. I just have a question. So about the decision to move the race to August, do you think that now that the rain kind of helped you guys in July, would you want to keep it in July for tradition, or do you agree with the decision to move it?
I'll speak to that. Nobody ever can take this win. We're the only one to be able to do this. So we made history today. The last race from July 4th weekend. But go ahead.
You summed it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that often you get to make history, and we made history today. The last July 4th race for Daytona. I didn't even think about that until you mentioned that. It's pretty big, really.
Go to Matt.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week for Justin. Given the way last July played out in the Xfinity race and then the way yesterday played out, do you even go into today's race thinking that there's a chance, or are you just trying to do the job, take care of the car? Like, how do you go from the mindset of just trying to take care of a car to now you've got a chance to win it?
Well, it's hard. Obviously, Spire Motorsports is a new team, and they don't have much over there. So this is one of their only cars, and I junked their Talladega car, which Peter was pretty mad at me for. But I hope I made it up to you with this one. But it's hard because you have to stay close enough to the draft to stay with the draft. You can't lose it because then you go multiple laps down. But you have to stay far enough back that if the big one does occur, you can avoid it, which we did perfectly there on that last caution. So it's definitely kind of like a chess match of keeping a gap enough but not losing it. So strategically today, I was just riding around, and I would have been really happy with the lead lap finish. This is my only third Cup start ever, so there was no expectation to win. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. I was really focused on the Xfinity race. When I finished second in that to Ross, it was a bummer, but happy for everyone at College Racing. But to come over here with Spire Motorsports and do something pretty special with a new team is definitely unbelievable.
Go to Martin.
Justin, do you think if this race had been restarted, you still could have won it? And two, I don't know if you're religious, but did you literally pray for rain?
Yes, I did pray for rain. But no, probably not. We probably would have gotten ate up pretty quick on the restart there. We don't have we own our own motors, so it's just, we're not in the wind tunnel. There's nothing to it. The guys built the car and rolled a motor out that they've been running all year, and it was probably refreshed a few races ago. So it's not like we have any technical alliance or big Cup team motor or anything. I mean, it was just like I said, we were just trying to keep the fenders on it, and that was the whole goal of the day, was just to finish the race with no scratches. So probably not. If we would have gotten back green, there was really up and down there because we did get back in the car, and the skies were pretty clear, and I was like, man, like, it's over. Like, that was our chance. It was great strategy by Peter to lead me out there when Kurt and Landon pitted. Because I did see lightning out of my windshield in 3 and 4 a good bit, and I kept calling. And I was like, man, there's definitely lightning. And then just kind of the car's far away, and we got lucky that they red flagged it down the backstretch and took us to pit road. And like I said, it was so up and down because we were back in the car ready to fire them back up, and then the rain came, and the rest is history.
Terry Sabston, WNDB. Do you think there was any advantage to running the Xfinity race and then the Cup race? There weren't too many drivers that did that, and you're one of the few. Does that give you any? Did it give you any advantage? Did it make you more comfortable out there? Did it make you feel better about running today?
No, I'm pretty comfortable with Super Speedway racing. It's always been pretty high on my skill set list. If you say, I mean, I've always had pretty good finishes at Super Speedway. Is what I'm trying to say. So these Cup cars, man, they were a handful to drive. You would think at Daytona you'd just be wide open, but we were lifting all the way out of the gas in the center of the corner just to keep them underneath us. I mean, they were super, super wild to drive. Scary at some points, and especially when you're 3 wide, it's definitely tough. So the Xfinity cars are a lot easier to drive, and I think it probably took a hand to how hot it was today. And there was really no grip on the track, which, you don't think at Daytona does much of a difference, but they were sliding around like crazy, and it was definitely a handful. So did it help? Probably not, but I always love racing. So any race I can enter is a plus for me.
Yeah, we didn't even get in the draft in practice. We made 3 single car runs in practice. That was it. So he is a very good speedway racer for not as much experience as he has, but he's run up front in every one of them, which was a big plus today. And him, we made that green flag stop. He got on pit road quick, got out pit road quick, and we were able to get the lucky dog. So that was all on him too, doing that, to put us in position to make the call.
Go to Holly.
Holly King, the NASCAR Wire Service. I just have a really easy question. Do you know where you were at the time of the big accident? Where you were running? What position?
Far enough back that I could miss it, but far enough in that I was still in the draft. I don't know. I was probably 5 car lengths.
27th?
27th?
Yeah.
Sure, 27th. But that really don't mean anything, does it? I mean, there were 3 right in front of me, so I know I barely got it slowed down. And the biggest thing when they wreck in front of you like that is there's multiple people behind you, so they could run in the back of you. So not only do you have to take care of yourself, you have to look in your mirror, trying to avoid the wreck in front of you, and make sure the guy behind you is not running into you, which was key. So Keith Barnwell, my spotter for this race, did an excellent job and managed me through it. And I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Do we have any final questions for our team? Go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Justin, I was talking to your mom, and she was telling me about, I guess, the first time you got, a couple times, the first time you got in a car. I guess you said it was the day after your grandmother's funeral. It was your uncle had it, and you saw a car on the wall of the barn and wanted to get in it. Do you recall that day? And again, I know you're a racing family, so that's probably just second nature, but you know why you wanted to be in that car that day?
I'm not sure. I didn't know it was after my grandmother's funeral, but that's a fun fact. I knew that the first time I got in it, I believe it was my cousin's quarter midget at the time, and it was on the wall, and he was driving around. He let me drive it, but I really didn't have. My family's always been in racing, but I really wasn't grown up like around a racetrack. I don't think I was really ever to the racetrack. I saw Jason Leffler a few times at ORP run. You know, we made some trips to Indy with my grandpa, but I personally feel like I had the desire to chase becoming a race car driver. I convinced my mom to let me get a quarter midget. At first, she said, as long as you can convince your stepdad to do it, then y'all can have fun. And that wasn't too hard of a convince, being he's a gearhead himself. So without them two, my stepdad and my mom, obviously this wouldn't have been possible, and everyone else in my family for believing in me and giving me faith. But yeah, I don't know, it's pretty surreal.
And one of the stories she told was, I guess she said you were about 10 years old and kind of moving up to a faster quarter midget. And she recalled a time when you did that and really kind of nervous. And she said kind of having the conversation with you of, hey, is this going to be fun? Are we just going to do this as a fun activity, or is this going to be a serious thing that we're going to do? And she kind of talked about, you know, your kind of nervousness with the fast car, but you got back in and this is what I want to do. Do you recall that experience?
I think there's a point in everyone's life where you have to make a decision. If you're playing high school football, you know, are you going to go play college ball, or if you're racing, are you going to take it seriously? And there was a time and point where I had to, you know, get homeschooled and take it seriously because I was on the road so much, and I wouldn't be able to take it seriously if my family didn't support me through it all. So they gave up a lot. They moved. My family moved down to North Carolina a few years back to help me chase my dream when I started running K&N East with Harry Scott and Justin Marks. So they took the trip down with me, and like I said, without them, this wouldn't be possible.
Any final questions for our winners? All right, gentlemen, well, congratulations and thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
A lot of chairs up here.